Right, hello, it says I'm live. I forgot to actually check again if the microphone had set itself to the Logitech one or not, so I don't know how good the volume's going to be or anything. I'm hoping, because I've now set in the Windows sound options the blue snowball as the default, it will actually default to that, but I still don't know if it will. Let's have a look, because I should be able to maybe check for the Windows sound ones, which ones it's using. I think it's currently saying it's using both, so I don't actually know which one it's using, unfortunately. I might see if I can just boost that up a bit. There we go, right, that one's boosted, so if it is using the Logitech webcam one, it should be a bit louder. So yeah, don't forget to like the stream if you're on, and obviously leave a message, because so far nobody said hello. There we go, 2Kickboy said hey, hello to you. So this turned up in the post today, another sort of vintage lighter I've got with leather wrapping. Right, hopefully then it's using the right microphone. Yeah, it's a all export, like sort of quite an old retro lighter, so I put a new flint in it today and cleaned all that out, and it's working now. That's quite cool. I might need to pull the thing up a bit more, but yeah, that's good then. So it has defaulted to my proper microphone then, because I find lighters interesting. Well, like I've said over and over again, I don't want to get into politics, and Article 13 sounds like a load of bollocks, but whether or not it gets pushed through or not, I don't know. Yeah, of course, I wouldn't buy a helmet and then not do a video on it, but I have to wait for it to arrive first. Right, it's a all export. There you go. Made in London. Similar kind of mechanics to a Zippo, if you sort of look at the underneath to it. Obviously it sits in this like its case. It's got sort of a strange design where you have to push the wheel down and then flick it to light it, but yeah. Pipe and cigars mostly, Nokia. Right, that's good it's using the blue snowball. Don't see why you get in trouble for buying lighters, they're perfectly legal. Yeah, I'll have to look up and see if I can find if there's like a production time, please. Apparently a lot of the Orlick lighters were sort of late 30s. Orlick Sport, yeah, the 30s. So that's cool. I don't know how long they produce these for, but yeah, 1930s lighter apparently. All right, Marcus. Right, I bought stuff before from Ukraine, Richard, and never had any import charges. But the problem I've had is occasionally you'll get sellers from Ukraine and Russia that want to charge you like £30 postage. Obviously, I just don't buy from them. But whether or not there would be customs charges, I don't know. But I'm just saying I've bought from them and never had anything added on before. Yeah, the Mark 6 is the really bad one, unless you get a Mark 6A, because it's ballistic nylon, and it's the one that won't stop literally anything. Maybe a bit of shrapnel, but if somebody shot at you with a 9mm pistol, it would go through the helmet, through your head, and then back out the other side of the helmet. Alright, don't forget to like the stream if you haven't done it yet, because it says there's 18 people on and 10 likes, so that's not a very good ratio at the moment. Should wait if you've done a shooting contest video. Don't spoil it until people see the actual video. If it's a 1986 one, it will be the green one that's got ballistic nylon in, because I don't think the Mark 6As came out until probably the 2000s. But yeah, it's one of those quite well-made lighters where you can obviously pretty much do it one-handed. It's obviously not as easy to do one-handed. There we go. I've not got a World War I Brody. I've got 2 World War II Brodies. Yeah, I suppose at least he left the parcel. But yeah, it is annoying, isn't it, if you weren't in and then somebody just stole your parcel. I've already got VR, Young Rail Enthusiast. I've not set the Oculus up with this new PC yet. I'll do that at some point. But VR's alright. I mean, it's good fun if you've got the money to waste on it, but it's not going to replace normal gaming anytime soon. Yeah, like what Chris says. Like I said, early 2000s. So yeah, that would work out with what I said. But yeah, if you've got one from like the 80s or 90s, it's just going to be a standard Mark 6. That's interesting, Rich. You can't really do videos easily with the Rift because it's quite hard to set it up to record both eyepieces. Yeah, quite a few money gamer. I'm assuming you've not looked at many of my videos then. You should have seen it if you've seen a lot of the streams, Noskia. I always end up showing it in the stream, so I'm not going to do it again on this one. At the moment, my UC stomach pain's not been great this evening, so I'm hoping that the flare-up is ending, and it's just where I'm having like a little bit of more pain today, because it's not always like an even up and down thing with a flare. But as it's been good the last couple of days, I am really hoping that it's just an off day rather than the flare-ups starting again really quickly. Depends what you mean, like best for practical use, best for like cool military knives, really depends. I have no idea, Gary. I wouldn't mess about with rebreathers. Well, it'd be a waste of World War I helmets because they're antiques, but you'd only need a couple, to be honest, because there's lots of videos of World War II helmets stopping 9mm and 45 ACP without much trouble. Coolest knife, probably my Fairbairn Sykes, but I've put that away at the moment. I'm trying to remember where I've put it, so I can't really get out for this video. I also really like that Swiss bayonet I've got. It's getting very tempting to just keep doing that with this lighter. Because obviously, it's like with the Zippo opening it and closing it. Yeah, size 2 is medium, FM12 size 1 is large, size 2 is medium, size 3 is small. So yeah, size 2 is medium. For most people, I think medium would just be the best size, to be honest, if they're an adult. Sounds good, Chris. I've got some Austrian combat boots that are the only combat boots I've still got. Actually, technically, I've got some East German ones, but I'm not sure if they're more like parade jack boots. But I used to have some really good German combat boots that lasted me for like probably 5 to 10 years. And for boots to last that long, it means they're well-made boots. Yeah, did you enjoy it, Archie? I don't know if enjoy is the right word for Fred. That's not true, young rail enthusiast, if they've been deactivated properly. If you can't see what I'm doing, it's this. Yeah, I suppose unique watching experience is a good word for it. Not many people in the chat at the moment, is there? And a lot of you haven't bothered liking, even though I asked you to. No, I didn't know that Iron Man. Are they legal? Or are they, like, again, under a weird classification? How did your phone break? Did you drop it or anything? Or was it just a case of it being an old phone? Sorry, I can't help it. Oh, is that another shooting contest one, Mike? Right, cheers, Ian. Yeah, we're up to 20 likes now, but 25 people watching, so there's still people who haven't bothered liking yet. What sort of phone was it? I've dropped my phone quite a lot of times and never managed to break it, but I suppose that's just because it's got a good shock case on it and it's not a iPhone. Weird food I like. We're on to food already. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to fucking talk about food today just because with my UC flaring up, I don't want to think about it. So no mentioning food or you're getting a timeout. I like loads of armoured vehicles, young rail enthusiasts, but sadly, obviously, they're a bit out of my price and space for getting them. But tank museums and, like, you know, all those sort of things I enjoy. So Bovington's a really good museum in the UK that has loads and loads of tanks and armoured vehicles. Tell you what, I'll put this down and I won't be tempted to keep flicking it. Right, if I don't do tanks then, to make it more interesting, the Russian or Soviet Shilka anti-aircraft, self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. A lot of the Soviet BMP series I quite liked. With the British ones, Scorpions and like what was the one that's the equivalent of the Scorpion but with the autocannon on? It's not the Saracen, is it? Is that the Saladin? They're quite cool. I wouldn't want to remove any Lee because they're interesting from a historical point of view, but if I had to remove one, maybe the Scott GSR. Yeah, I mentioned Bovington because I was asked about armoured vehicles. Battle tanks, Challenger 2s, the more modernised T-72s, World War II ones. Obviously, I like the, what's it? I can't think of the fucking name, Sherman. The later M1 Abrams are better, but the problem with the M1 Abrams is it uses that really weird fuel engine. Right, you're getting a timeout for that. Don't ask anything illegal in the chat, please. You do it again, you're instantly going to be blocked. Yeah, Leopards are good, especially Leopard 2s. I bet they didn't activate it very well, though, to be honest, Archie. Because if it's been properly deactivated, you're not going to be able to reactivate it. Don't ask what he said, right? It always annoys me where if somebody asks something illegal and you hide the message, other people go, oh, what did they say? Don't fucking talk about illegal stuff. Pretty simple. Yeah, gas turbine engine. Yeah, exactly. It's not like a standard diesel engine or whatever. That's called M60 patterns. They're very cool tanks. The late generations of M60s were really good, actually, saying that, weren't they? I think when they had the bit of a crossover phase, while the M60s, like the late model of them, was still in service in the early M1s, the M60s were technically better in terms of like stabilizers and optics and things like that. What's gas, right, or gasoline? The turbine engine for the Abrams, I think so. But the problem is it's like an engine that wastes a lot of fuel, from my understanding. It depends, Iron Man. Depends what sort of war you're fighting. I started playing Resident Evil 7 earlier because I've got that working on the new PC now. I was messing about quite a bit with the AMD options, and I've started undervolting the card. And since I've done that, a lot of stuff seems to work better. I also manually reinstalled my GPU drivers and told Windows to fuck off and not try and reinstall drivers for me. Because again, it shouldn't be a function because Windows just breaks stuff when it tries to do that. I don't think slow mode's on, is it? So I don't know why there's not many people chatting. It seems strange that there's 20 odd people on, but there's not that many messages coming through, at least not for me, unless YouTube's hiding all of them. Right, I've already asked you not to ask stuff like that, Gary. So don't ask questions like that. It should be quite obvious stuff like that is illegal. The name sounds familiar, Marcus, but I can't actually think if I do or not. Quite a lot I don't have, young rail enthusiast. I've done it down the pub with a few people I used to drink with, but that's about it, Richard. Nothing pro or anything like that. Okay, let me Google his name, Marcus, and see, because maybe I have watched some of his stuff before, I really don't know. Oh, and it's doing the thing where I can't copy and paste from the chat, so never mind. Not really, Archie, because I don't agree with a lot of the politics behind it. Should still be working at my end, it seems. No, I've never seen a sleeping bag in a tin, Iron Man. So yeah, I've got another vintage lighter on order at the moment, and that will hopefully turn up in the next couple of days. I'll probably do a video tomorrow or Friday on that all export, so that's quite interesting to do a video on. Then I've got the Polish helmets coming as well. I've done a few things, Chris, like obviously making sure I can get a mask out of its bag and on quickly and stuff like that, but I don't ever bother opening like sealed filters and stuff like that are brand new ones to do drills with. But again, I think in reality, if you're in a situation that's really fucked up, you're going to die anyway. As I said, I have done some stuff with it, so I kind of know what I'm doing. But again, I only really practice with the masks I want to use, because I certainly don't go through all my different masks and sort of try stuff with those. Depends totally, young rail enthusiast, on what kind of bit they've got at the top. If it's got a lid that opens properly and the flattish probes, they're good. If they've got the ones with the lid that only semi-opens and like the enclosed probes, they're useless. I got two Polish helmets, Preston, an M51 and the Polish Fire Brigade helmets that look like French Adrian helmets. Yeah, I've got a couple of laser pointers. I showed one on the stream a while ago, but I'm not going to bother getting it out. Depends what you mean, Gary. Obviously, it wasn't a massive actual explosion like the two nuclear bombs, but in terms of radiation, it was far worse. Oh, just the standard M10, not the M10M. Yeah. Cool. What did you make it out of then, Charizard? Sounds painful, Rich. I'm trying to remember what that film was I watched where a load of it was arm wrestling when it was meant to be an action film and they were doing it to pad it out. It might have been called something like Fists of Steel or something like that. It was one of those Italian films pretending to be American. There isn't a GP6, but if you mean a GP5M, the GP5M is better than the GP5. No, the one I'm thinking of is definitely didn't have Stallone in. It was like an Italian film pretending to be American. I know there is a film with Stallone in, isn't there, arm wrestling, but I've never seen that. When you say waiters, do you mean waders? I'm assuming you didn't kidnap like waiters from a restaurant and skin them or something to make an NBC suit out of them. Yeah, I did. That's a shame, Mike. But I suppose eventually you'll get and do one, won't you? Where you can just use a really well functioning air gun or whatever. Get home, Stallone. Don't know. I found that funny. I've not seen Over the Top, but yeah, I think it was called something like Fists of Steel or Fists of Fury or something. A film I'm all about, and it was about some cyborg that was meant to be like a secret government project, but then obviously a lot of it was just them getting muscular actors to arm wrestle to waste like a lot of the runtime of the film, so it was low budget to film. No, I've not got any MRE packs. Full stop. Well, personally, I think Avon masks are really good, but that's again down to opinion. I used to still watch that Rambo video knife Mike did. Rambo knife video Mike did the other day. I might do Archie, but it'd have to be something I actually feel like doing a video on, to be honest. Because I don't want to make it, for the sake of kind of doing a clickbaity video, if that makes sense. Well, that one there, just it's an area on a firing range where you'd need a mask on. When you say projectile launcher, do you mean? I assume you don't mean firearms. I assume you mean like RPGs, those kind of things. It definitely have to be a reusable one, not the kind of ones where you get one shot and then throw the tube away, like some of the laws. So maybe is it the RPG 29 that's the vampire or vampire, the really good one that can actually blow holes in things like Abrams and Challengers? That's a pretty good one. So you did kill some waiters then, Charizard. That wasn't very nice of you, was it? Well, it's not CGI, if that's what you're asking. It's a real sword. But what do you mean? Is it a Japanese one? It's not Japanese. It was probably made in China, but it's made to traditional method, so it's functionally as a katana, yeah. Oh, as in the modern javelin things, I don't know too much about them. I know that javelin's anti-air or anti-tank. I can't actually remember. Yeah, the thing is, Chris, as well, I think it's just generally when you think about stuff like that, I can't think of many Avon masks that were kind of a total train wreck. Where with a lot of the other companies, I can think of masks they made where they had lots and lots of issues with them. But yeah, again, it really depends, doesn't it? It might just be because Avon's quite careful about not releasing dodgy products. Well, I've tested a lot of them with the Geiger counters and stuff like that, Marcus, and none of them ever come up with anything like that. Obviously, some of the World War II masks could have seen some sort of service and stuff like that, but I don't think any of our masks have been exposed to stuff because they all literally come from surplus supply crates. D&B Militaria was where I got mine from, Elliot. But again, DIAC guns in the UK now are getting really expensive to the point I wouldn't really recommend many people get them unless there's something they really want. Ghosts, I don't know, Nuskio. Aliens, I think they must exist just due to how big the universe basically is. So I think even if it's bacteria on another planet, that would technically be an alien, wouldn't it? So I think aliens definitely exist. But yeah, ghosts, I don't know. I'm open to the concept. I think there's a lot of stuff science can't explain at the moment. But again, it's in the future, science might be able to explain it not as a ghost kind of thing. What do they do under the 50 series stress tests then, Chris, out of interest? Yeah, you can do, but that only works for Geiger counters with an alpha probe for the most part. So they only give off Americinium or American, whatever it's called, only gives off a lot of alpha and a very weak reading of gamma. So it's not necessarily a good thing to test a Geiger with unless you've got an alpha source or an alpha probe, right, Peach? Or video based, whatever you want to be called. What do you mean, potato lad? I think YouTube's changed it now, so there's a lot less delay with streaming on YouTube. It's because it's a knee-jerk law, Archie. They put it in at one point, but didn't kind of consider all the things in the law. Well, as I said before, when I get asked this like every stream, yeah, I quite like airsoft. The issue is there's no airsoft sites all that close to me. And the sites that are even like a 30, 40-mile drive only seem to do 1 or 2 airsoft games on a Sunday each month. So again, with work, I can't really do it. Yeah, radiological. But as we said before, CBRN suits shouldn't be called CBRN suits because they offer you like no radiological protection. All they protect you from is fallout dust. Mostly, that's very interesting. So they do a hydraulic press test. How's the weather? Been absolutely fine today. Most of this week's meant to be sunny. I might actually just quickly look at the weather report again and see what comes up. But yeah, for my localish area, it's just according to that, it's meant to be pretty much sunny every day of the week. Whether or not that ends up being true, I don't know, because they say that a lot and you get like an hour of rain on some days. But well, since I had the back injury, Iron Man, I've done a lot less weight training just because I can find I can set my back off again quite easily. I quite enjoyed it when I used to do stuff, but I never used to regularly do it like a gym kind of thing. No, you can't stop carbon monoxide properly, Juan, with a gas mask filter because I think it's kind of too small for the filter to stop or something. I can't remember the exact reasoning, but you can get filters specifically for carbon monoxide, but they're only in very low concentrations. Oh, that's very cool. I did not know that, Chris. I'll have to definitely test that at some point. Yeah, but it's not a filter, the DP1, as far as I'm aware, Gary. It's like a scrubber unit. Well, I think, as I've said before, anybody doing that is a really stupid person. Because obviously storming a military base is just gonna get you shot, isn't it? Well, it should do, Iron Man. I mean, the problem is if the smoke's really hot, it can still damage your lungs that way, and if there's loads of carbon monoxide or whatever in the air, you're screwed for that reason. But a mask with a like proper CBRN filter with the particle bits in as well as the charcoal is going to block lots of the particles from the smoke and a lot of the crap in the smoke from getting to your lungs. So it's, as I've said before, it's better than not having a mask on, but it's no substitute for a rebreather or like an air tank. You could probably get a British Mark IV or Mark V respirator for £50 easily. Out of all the gas masks I own, I'm trying to think in terms of interesting, like unique design. It's a hard one, actually. Off the top of my head, I really don't know. Wow, if they actually infected people with stuff, I think it's pretty immoral. Because the US did lots of stuff with infecting people with syphilis and stuff like that under actual, like projects to study how it worked on people and stuff like that. But as I've said before, I don't really like to get too political on these streams, so I'd rather people didn't ask lots of political questions. Yeah, but they did definitely do a lot of stuff like that. If you look up like MK Ultra and a lot of the surrounding stuff they did with that, there was loads of stuff with infecting people with flu on purpose to see how it would affect people and stuff like that. Right, see you, doctor. Oh, that big one, eBay. Nearly everything you see behind me that wasn't printed off by me has come from eBay. Deactivated guns, obviously not, and the swords, no, but pretty much everything I have is always eBay. You're not banned because I can see your comment. I don't think you get a surplus Jeep for £50 though for the person asking about buying World War II stuff for £50. Well, as I said, I got mine from D&B Militaria. There's other places that sell them, but Diac guns are quite expensive now for what you get. Yeah, it's a 40mm Fred Noskio, so you can put, of course, a hose on if you wanted to. Which one's the prof lighter? I'm going to have to think. Is that just the one that's like the jet lighter? Pretty certain that still works. It's like one of these, isn't it? Just with a different brand name on. But this is my oldest one of any of those designs. And as you can see, this works. So yeah, they work. I don't think I've had a single jet lighter break, to be honest. I just showed it then, young rail enthusiast. Right, I might end the stream quite early tonight because my stomach's still being quite painful. So I don't know if I really want to keep streaming, to be honest. Nothing personal, obviously, but it's just I know I'm gonna get quite irritable if I'm in pain and I'm gonna trying to sit in front of the webcam for whatever. S6s aren't really rare at all. They were used from the 1960s, I believe, to like the 1980s. So they had like a 20-year of production. Yeah, I'll stay on a few minutes longer, but as I said, if my stomach still ends up being painful, I don't really want to risk pushing it kind of thing. That's cool. Sadly, I don't know any sites that sell Diac grenades. Does anybody? I know it won't let you post a link, but if you just post like the actual name of the sites that sell Diac grenades, I'd be interested in those. But I've not found many like deactivated gun sites that actually sell deactivated grenades. All right, cool. So you'll be on my mic streaming it, will you? Mark IVs aren't Kevlar. The Mark IV is a steel pot helmet. Yeah, deac grenades definitely exist. One of my mates has got a deactivated grenade, but it just seems like they're very hard to find places selling it now. Like, cheers, Rich. Yeah, I don't know, because it's weird, because the last couple of days it's definitely been getting better, and then just all of a sudden this evening, about 30 minutes before I started streaming, it started coming on again. So I'm hoping it might just be like a random stomach bug, because that's the problem with UC, is quite often, until you've had a flare up for quite a long time, you don't ever know if you're getting like severe stomach pain, because it could just be food poisoning, or it could be like a stomach infection or something like that. And that was a problem when they first started me on UC medicine, is I had to let them know straight away if I had bad symptoms from starting the medicine. But like the day after I started the medicine, I got a stomach bug. So the hospital said to me, you know, like, try it for a couple more days. If you carry on with this sort of stuff, stop the medication, we'll need to prescribe you something else. But then luckily all that subsided. So it was just, I somehow managed to catch like a stomach infection, you know, at the exact same time that I started a different medicine. Sorry, what are you on about? But if you're on about Mark IV helmets, Mark III and Mark IV helmets, and the Mark V, which is a bit rarer, are all steel pots. Definitely not Kevlar. GP6 isn't a real mask. How many times? There's a GP5 and a GP5M. Then there's the GP7. There isn't a GP6. Okay, let me Google that then. Colloidal silver. Well, the first thing says it's actually not safe to, isn't considered safe or effective for any of the health claims manufacturers make. So I'm going to assume it's probably not good. It's good if it helps you, but yeah, from what it seems, it's like one of those things that seems more of a placebo type things. That's cool, Dylan. I don't think I've got any proper phobias. I mean, with autism, you kind of get social anxiety and things like that, but that's not so much a phobia. It's a bit like the brain that's pretty much common with anybody that's got an ASD kind of thing. I'm trying to think of actual phobias, because I used to really not like spiders, but spiders don't really bother me much at all now. Um, I don't particularly like heights, but I'm not scared of going up somewhere that's height. I just don't particularly like looking down. But again, I think that's more of a natural body reflex. So I don't think I really do have any phobias, to be honest. There's things I don't like, but I certainly wouldn't say they're, you know, it to the level of being a phobia where you get really, really stressed out from it. Cool. Yeah, I've got a Polish fireman's helmet on order that looks a lot like an Adrian's helmet. When I get it, I'll have to look at it from more angles and compare it to photos of Adrian helmets from different angles to work out if they actually modelled it off of an Adrian helmet or it just kind of looks a bit similar. But it's like a steel helmet that looks really similar to an Adrian, but that might just be a coincidence. Oh, thank you, Mike. And of course, you can post a link because you're a mod. Oh, a lot of them are only 20 quid. Although some of those are rubber, aren't they, rather than being It seems strange that some of the actual grenades, the wood replicas, are more expensive than the real ones. Are all these replicas? Does it have like a sorting thing so you can sort by... Oh, they're all replicas, are they? Never mind. I don't know if I'd bother getting a replica. I mean, I quite like the look, but you can buy deactivated ones, so that was more the thing, because one of my mates has a deac one. So I'd rather just get a deac one as it's the authentic thing. Yeah, that's the Mark III, the tortoise Iron Man. And technically the Mark IV and Mark V as well, because I think it was only the liners that changed in the meantime. I really don't know, Gary. No, I wouldn't mind replica ones as well, Mike. It's just, I know you can get deac ones. I just don't know where they sell them. Because this is the thing, because one of my mates got a deac one he bought from an army surplus years ago. And maybe it's just the laws changed now and you can't get them. But, you know, he's got one where you can pull the pin out and everything, and it's definitely a real metal grenade with quite a bit of heft to it. But obviously it's just, there's nothing inside it. I guess they've hollowed it out and filled it with sawdust or something. Yeah, well, hopefully you make a bit of a profit on that, Richard. If you know, hopefully you definitely break even, but making a profit would be a good thing. Is a diesel-powered forge like more consistent with heat then, or whatever? I suppose you don't have to rely on coke then, do you? So I suppose diesel, you always know what quality you're getting, don't you? Whereas if, like you said, with the coal, you keep getting shafted by the people selling it who are selling lower quality stuff than they claim, which then fucks your projects up. How the fuck did I never see that, Mike? Thank you, but I find that really weird that I go on D&B military a lot and I never realised they had grenades on here. That Polish one looks quite good though. I'm tempted to get that. Because with postage that'd be about 30 quid and it's kind of like that classic grenade style, isn't it? The RPG trainer things are quite cool as well. Yeah, I'm tempted looking at this to get probably a Polish F1 grenade, the M2 and the M3, because they're slightly different looking, but I think they both look quite cool because they look like classic grenades. They're defensive grenades, aren't they? Because they've got the bit where you can put them somewhere and then use the ring as a tripwire. Because I think they're the ones where you can't safely throw them because the explosive radius or shrapnel radius is like further than most people can throw them. Yeah. I'm on an F-bomb record because my stomach hurts, so it makes me irritable. That said, I've lasted longer on this stream than I thought I would. Right, see you, Marcus. Have a good evening. Right, I'll probably finish the stream off here, so thanks, everybody. But as said, when my stomach's hurting, I'm just getting a bit irritable, even though I don't want to be. But again, that's the issue, like I've said before. Or sometimes I end up blocking people easily because, again, if I'm in pain for a bit, throws the thing off. But yeah, so thanks, everybody. It's been a good enough stream for what it has been because, obviously, like I said, my stomach's definitely hurt quite a bit. Yeah, hopefully I'll be on that Bing. I mean, it could be possible that I have an early night if my stomach's quite painful, but hopefully I'll see Mike's stream. I don't know how talkative I'll be in it if I'm on it, but yeah, right. So you'll be on Twitch 10 p.m. ish. Well, I'll catch you on there if I can, Mike. But yeah, thanks everybody, and thanks for the links for the grenades, Mike, because I think I'm going to order some of those now because, like I said, I've wanted an inert, rather than the replica grenade for ages, and that's been the first time anybody's ever found me a link for one. So cheers. Right, thank you, Mike, and thanks everybody. See you later.